In Sporty news, we look back at 2011. Today, we look at the basketball highlights of the past year. Lockout, the key phrase of 2011. Lockout, in other words, a strike. A dispute between the NBA, which represents the owners of 30 franchise teams, and the Union of Players was the source of the conflict. The owners reported a loss of €370 million last season and wanted to reduce the budget for player salaries. The players, meanwhile, rejected the idea of a deficit and refused to lower their salaries. When negotiations reached a deadlock on July 1st, 2011, the NBA announced the beginning of the lockout. And yet the season was set to be captivating, namely with the revenge of Miami's LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh against the Dallas Mavericks, the reigning champions led by Dirk Nowitzki. The Boss' attempt at placing pressure on their players failed miserably. On November 14th, the Players' Union rejected the last collective agreement and filed an antitrust lawsuit against the league. The owners were beaten at their own game. The players' counterattack shook up the league leaders, who finally agreed to a 50-50 share of revenue and the return of the championship on Christmas Day. The only ones who were sad to see the end of the lockout were the European and Chinese basketball leagues, which welcomed a great many NBA players and started to see interest for their championships grow. The Eurobasket Championships were the event of the summer in basketball. This competition, which took place in Lithuania, held a few surprises. Starting with Macedonia, led by naturalized American player Bo McCaleb, who had never reached a European semifinal nor ever qualified for a world competition. Against all odds, the team eliminated Lithuania on its home turf and ended fourth of the tournament. Another great revelation was the French team that displayed great teamwork after years of hard work. The team nabbed the silver medal and instantly qualified for the London Games. Tony Parker told Trace Sports about his squad's team spirit.
Every night I had to get granola biscuits for Ronnie Turiaf, Boris Joe, and Joachim Noah. It became our little ritual, our routine, since I love granola biscuits and had bought tons of packets along. Lots of humor and a laid-back atmosphere in any case, which no doubt helped the French team win. Upon their return to France, the French squad led by Tony Parker was treated to a warm welcome on the Champs-Élysées, a great way of promoting basketball in France, just like the presence of Parker, Joe, Batum, and Turiaf in Pro A tournaments until November. Tony Parker was so excited he even applied to be the French flag bearer at the Olympic Games. Another great highlight of this edition of the Eurobasket Championships was the overwhelming victory of Spain, a decidedly powerful team that confirmed the title it won in 2009. The London Olympics should be nothing short of spectacular. 2011 was also the end of a basketball season, the chance to take stock of the players. Among them, two in particular caught the attention of the basketball world. Derrick Rose, at only 22, the leader of the Chicago Bulls, is the youngest player in history to be named MVP of the regular season. With on average 25 points per match during 81 regular season matches, Derrick Rose took the Chicago Bulls to the top. His liveliness and his efficiency as a team leader convinced the reporters who attribute the award. Now all he has to do is win the NBA title for his hometown club. The other revelation of the year was Blake Griffin. For his first NBA season with the Los Angeles Clippers, after a first year where he was unable to play due to an injury, Blake treated fans to phenomenal dunks, which were a sensation on the internet. The highlight of his year was the Los Angeles All-Star Game, where he was selected for the Rookie Challenge with other league stars. He even won the Slam Dunk contest, prompting advertisers to feature his skills in their commercials. And unsurprisingly, he was unanimously voted Rookie of the Year. At 39, Shaquille O'Neal decided to put an end to his career in the NBA after 19 years. Shaq played for Orlando, the Los Angeles Lakers, Miami, Phoenix, Cleveland, and Boston, which he joined in 2010, hoping to add a fifth championship ring to his collection. A last-ditch effort that backfired since it prompted him to announce his retirement in June 2011 on Twitter. Shaq was more than just a basketball player. He's a brand and a household name. He once had one of the biggest paychecks in the NBA, dabbled in music, movies, and television. The 7'1" giant is a formidable businessman with a lot of merchandise and video games to his name. Although he'll no longer be on the court, he'll still be on TV. Indeed, Shaq will be an analyst for a show called Open Court alongside Charles Barkley. Their outspokenness already did wonders during the lockout and should make a few people cringe this season. Owned by big-time American businessman Mark Cuban, the Dallas Mavericks finally made it to the top and won the NBA title for the first time in history. Founded in 1980, the Texas franchise was beat by Miami Heat last time it made it to the finals in 2006. This year, they got their back since Kidd and Nowitzki's teammates faced the Florida team in the NBA Final. Alongside Nowitzki, Terry, Marion Butler, and co. defended their ground against the Big Three, aka Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, and Chris Bosh. This was the first NBA title of their career for all the players on the team. As for Nowitzki, he was named the best player of the final, another achievement to add to his 10 All-Star Game selections and his MVP title in 2007. Everyone knows his name, his game, and his dunks are legendary. As number 23 of the Chicago Bulls, he took his team to the top. Michael Jordan, the greatest player of all times, is a real role model for a number of athletes. He's the first athlete to make his mark on the fashion world by launching the Jordan brand with Nike. In March 2010, Jordan became the owner of an NBA team from North Carolina, the Charlotte Bobcats. Now he's on the other side of the fence after being the president of basketball operations for the Washington Wizards less than a decade ago. Players no doubt thought they could count on Michael Jordan's understanding to push forward salary negotiations. And yet in November, Michael Jordan was the leader of a group of owners which categorically refused to share NBA revenue 50-50. The star was strongly criticized by the players who accused him of having taken advantage of the system as a player and now wanting to do the same as an owner. Yao Ming was selected for the NBA All-Star Game 8 times and became the first Chinese basketball player to play in the NBA. At 31, the man nicknamed the Great Wall of China due to his height of 7'6", is a real legend in his country. His success in the United States made him a role model and earned him the title of model worker in 2005. After 9 seasons in Texas with the Houston Rockets and several foot injuries that prevented him from playing for 2 seasons, the Giant announced his retirement on July 20th, 2011 in Shanghai. He played his first NBA game in 2002 and quickly won over his harshest critics. He managed to promote basketball in China, a country where table tennis is still the national sport. Yao bought the club he started in, the Shanghai Sharks. He then decided to go back to school and currently lives between Houston, Beijing, and Shanghai, his hometown. The newly retired player released his first vintage of Californian wines marketed by his company, Yao Family Wines.